Welcome back to Newmber Math, in which we apply color to identify and sequence within math. Kicking off your 24-25 school year, this email came from little Susie Greenberg in Delaware. Said her head was caving in over the math, and we definitely do not want her to slip beneath the undertow of the grading scale. So kicking it off with number 1, identify the coefficient of the third term. 8x to the 7th minus 5x to the 5th plus 3x to the 3rd plus 17 is an expression. We do not see an equal sign, so it is not an equation. And just to go over a quick refresher for Susie, we are going to start from left to right, and we're going to highlight each term. So 8x to the 7th will be your first term. Now the coefficient is the number in front of the variable, or the number in front of the letter, which is 8 in this case. Well, we're looking for the third term, so it can't be that. So we'll continue, minus 5x to the 5th. All right, so that negative 5 would be the coefficient of our second term. And let's move forward to the third term, that plus 3x cubed. Yes, exactly, that 3 is the coefficient. Ooh, and let me circle it just like this so we know it's positive. Let's write our answer of 3. Go ahead and circle it. And if we were going to ask how many terms there are, we would have 4 with the plus 17, and there is 0 coefficient. There is 17. It's just a constant standing by itself, and that was a full-on refresher for you. So if you would like to pause the video and try 1B independently, feel free, and we will move on to 2A. And per the usual, when we do have practice problems sent in to us, I will complete them and show them at the end of the video for you to self-assess. All right, so number 2, determine the result of 11x to the 7th minus 9x to the 4th plus 7 plus negative 8x to the 7th plus 3x to the 4th minus 15x squared. All right, we have 3 terms in each, so they're both trinomials. First thing I like to look at here is that space in between, and that space in between I'm going to highlight. We see a plus or positive sign right there. That's acting as a plus 1 that would technically get distributed to the 3 terms, but anything multiplied by 1 stays the same, so we don't need to change anything. What we need to do is just identify what to combine if possible, and then rewrite our polynomial here when simplified. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's highlight the 11x to the 7th. All right, so we're looking for a term that has the x variable to the 7th power. And if we look right away, we have negative 8x to the 7th. Yes, they share the same variable x and the same exponent of 7. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that. Now, if you would like to go ahead and do the computation, you can. 11x to the 7th minus 8x to the 7th. Well, how many x to the 7th does that leave you? Yes, exactly. 3x to the 7th. All right, we'll move on to our second term with the negative 9x to the 4th. Can it be combined with anything? It certainly can. Great job. The plus 3x to the 4th. We'll go ahead and just combine that now. If you'd like to align below, you can, but you don't have to. Negative 9x to the 4th plus 3x to the 4th gives us, wonderful job, negative 6x to the 4th. I'm going to highlight our third term, which is a 7. Can that be combined with anything? No, it cannot, because we have the negative 15x squared. All right, and just so you guys are completely refreshed for the review, when we rewrite our answer out, we actually want to start with the negative 15x squared and put that before the 7. All right, as we're going to start with our greatest exponent and work our way down to our least. So if you are taking a standardized test, you know what to identify and circle. So I'm just going to rewrite the negative 15x squared followed by our plus 7. And then I'm just going to circle our answer. Great job so far, guys. All right, looks like there's a 2B for you practicing at home. If you'd like to, go ahead and pause the video and try that on your own. All right, let's roll through 3A. It just says determine the result of negative 6x to the 4th minus 10x squared plus 13 minus symbol in between here. 8x to the 4th minus 16x squared plus 3x. All right, so slightly different. And what is that difference? Yes, it is the negative or minus, and we need to find the difference. All right, so remember, this would act then as a negative 1 that would need to be distributed to the 8x to the fourth, the negative 16x squared, and plus 3x. So what we're going to do, and just to show you that, I'm just going to highlight these three terms, and right below, I'm just going to flip the sign of them because that's all we're doing. A negative times a positive becomes a negative, so negative 8x to the fourth. A negative times a negative becomes a positive, so that would be plus 16x squared. And then again, the negative times a positive would become a negative, giving us negative 3x. All right, so now that we're done with that, I'm kind of just going to go like this. I'm just going to cross it out. We're done with it. Let's set it and forget it. And then we're going to do the exact same thing we just did above. All right, so negative 6x to the fourth, what can we combine it with? Yes, we can, that negative 8x to the fourth. All right, so if I was in the hole $6 and I borrowed another $8, well, how much do I owe? I owe $14, x to the fourth. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight that second term here, negative 10x squared. Can that be combined with anything? It sure can. That plus 16x squared, again, same variable, same exponent. Just going to highlight that and do the computation as we go. Negative 10 plus 16 gives us a positive 6x squared. All right, our third term here, we have the 13. And again, can that be combined with anything? No, it can't be combined with negative 3x. And how do we want to write it? Exactly, great job with that negative 3x first. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that. Then I'm going to drop our plus 13. It looks like my writing might get a little smaller as we continue because some of these we may have to multiply a little bit. All right, so determine the result of. It looks like you guys have a 3B for practice if you'd like to go ahead and pause the video. And we will move forward to 4A. All right, 4A, determine the degree of the trinomial. All right, 2x to the 7th minus 14x to the 5th plus 8x squared. Very simple one for us on this one, guys, okay? We're just looking for the greatest exponent. In this case, it's a 7. So our answer is 7. And yes, they even gave you a practice for this one, even though I'm 100% certain that everyone will nail it. And probably nail them all for an A on this first one if Susie shares out her review. All right, 5A, determine the result of 2x squared minus 7, 4x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus 9. All right, we have a space between. There won't be so much of a space, I believe, on your review. Let me try to make that just a little bit smaller for us, okay? That's usually like a little tighter in between as I take the reviews and I kind of space them out a little more just to write. But we're going to go ahead now with nothing in between, no plus, no minus. So we need to distribute these two terms to each term in the trinomial, okay? So we'll take our binomial here. We're just going to distribute, and let's just show that here. We're going to take our 2x squared. Let me thicken that up how it was before. All right, I'm going to take that. I'm going to multiply it to 4x to the fourth, all right? So 2 times 4 gives us, yes, 8. Great job. Now, with the exponents, we will add those. So x squared, x to the fourth becomes x to the sixth because 2 plus 4 is 6. Great work there. All right, we're going to take that same 2x squared and multiply it to negative 5x cubed. So 2 times negative 5 gives us negative 10. Great work. X squared plus x cubed gives us x to the fifth. Wonderful. Then we're going to take that and distribute it to the last term, which is our plus 9. So 2 times 9 is 18. Don't forget to write your x squared. So plus 18 x squared. Then we will take our second term, and we're going to align to combine if we can combine anywhere, okay? If not, we'll rewrite it at the end. We have negative 7 times 4x to the fourth, so negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Don't forget to the x to the fourth, so negative, sorry about that, 28 x to the fourth. And then we have negative 7 times negative 5, giving us, yes, a positive, big hurt Frank Thomas, 35x cubed, so plus 35x cubed. And again, we can't combine that with anything, but negative 7 times 9 is wonderful, negative 63. Now, these aren't clearly in order by exponents, 6, 5, 2, 4, 3. All right, so we wanted to go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So you're simply just going to rewrite it as 8x to the 6th. We'll get rid of it, minus 10x to the 5th. We'll get rid of it. Again, we're looking for that next greatest exponent, which is to the 4th. Negative 28x to the 4th, so minus 28x to the 4th. Then we will go with the 3, the plus 35, Frank Thomas x cubed, get rid of it, plus 18x squared, minus 63. All right, that's just in case you're looking for a standardized test and it's a little disorganized. Put it in order, circle the answer. All right, 5B. Yes, they did give you practice. Wonderful, great job. All right, so 6A looks very similar, but let's go ahead and work through it. Determine the result of 9x to the 5th plus 6x cubed minus 5. Again, nothing in between, just a blank space. 6x to the 5th minus 7x cubed plus 4. All right, let me grab our highlighter here. And again, that space between, I meant to do that in gray. Sorry about that. All right, that's telling us that we need to distribute our trinomial here to this trinomial here. All right, so let's just work through it together. We might have to do a little more combining this time. We'll see. We got off the hook on the last one. All right, so we'll just start with our 9x to the 5th. Let me highlight that for us, and then we'll distribute it to all three terms. I don't know why it's auto switching to the eraser. I really don't like when Notability does that, but 9 times 6 is 54. And that would be x to the, great job, 10th, because we add. Then we'll do 9x to the 5th times negative 7x cubed. So 9 times negative 7 gives us a negative 63, and that will be x to the, good job, 8th. So negative 63 minus 63, x to the 8th, great work. 9x to the 5th times that plus 4, that positive 4. 9 times 4 is 36, x to the 5th, so plus 36, x to the 5th. Then we will take our second term of plus 6x cubed. All right, so 6x cubed times 6x to the 5th. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. And when we add the x cubed and x to the 5th, it does come to an 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to align it right below. We're going to do plus 36 x to the 8th. All right, then we'll do our 6x cubed times negative 7x cubed. We have 6 times negative 7 giving us negative 42. It'll be x to the 6th. Well, we don't have any 6's, so what we're going to do is we're just going to continue to write it along that same line, negative 42, x to the 6th, and then we will distribute it to the last term. So 6x cubed times 4, 6 times 4 is 24. So we'll do our plus 24x cubed. All right, then we will work through in green and do the exact same thing. Negative 5 times 6x to the 5th. Well, negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. And again, we have that x to the 5th. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little, just so we can see that representation that this is our third term that we're distributing. Let's do a third line. Minus 30 x to the 5th. All right, negative 5 times negative 7x cubed. Negative times a negative gives us a plus 35. And again, we have an x cubed, so we can align that right under our 24x cubed. And then we will do negative 5 times 4, giving us negative 20. We don't have any constants yet, so we can do that. And now what we do is we just draw our little line, and we work top to bottom, left to right. And again, if there's nothing below, well, there's nobody home. Just bring it straight down, that 54x to the 10th. Let's bring it down. All right, negative 63x to the 8th plus 36x to the 8th. Well, if you owed me $63 and you paid me back 36, you still owe me 27. So you're minus 27x to the 8th. 36x to the 5th minus 30x to the 5th will leave us a positive 6x to the 5th. Our negative 42x to the 6th, we can just drop down. Yes, I do know that our exponents are out of order. We will do that in the last step. 24x cubed plus 35x cubed gives us that plus 59x cubed. bring down your negative 20. All right, if you don't see your answer or if you're unsure, please again organize your answer. So it'll be 54x to the 10th minus 27x to the 8th minus 42x to the 6th plus 6x to the 5th plus 59x cubed minus the 20, and that will be your final answer in case it's open response. All right, for 6b, go ahead and practice that. Wonderful. And again, we're having repeats now, okay? So we just saw the repeat where we had to distribute, all right, between the polynomials there twice in a row with 5 and 6. 7, what do you guys notice right away? All right, yes, fantastic job with that. I love that you're seeing it. All right, so I think we can recognize exactly what to do. Do we really need to distribute it all? No. Do we need to flip anything from the second polynomial? No, because everything's being multiplied by 1, so they're just staying the same. So let's just look to see what we can combine again. All right, we have our 8x to the 6th. Any terms that share the variable x to the 6th power, or an exponent of 6? Yes, there is. We have that 12x to the 6th. 8 plus 12 is 20. Don't forget to write your x to the 6th. And if it is easier for you to just cross those out after, feel free. All right, we have our negative 3x to the 4th. Can we combine it with anything? Yes, we can. We can combine that with plus x to the 4th. So if you owed me 3x and you pay me back 1x, well, you still owe me 2x, so you're negative 2x to the 4th. Let's go ahead and cross those out. All right, and then we have a 17 constant number by itself. Ooh. And then we have another constant number by itself. Yes, we can combine those. And 17 minus 17, does it leave us anything? It sure does not. Let's just go ahead and circle our answer. All right, you guys go ahead, and looks like you have another practice. Nice. The teacher did a great job on this one. Wish I could do it every time because there's a lot of my review videos that I cannot do the practice for. 7b, go ahead and try on your own. All right, 8a, determine the result of, and again, yes, great job. We can go through it together if you'd like. Sure, why not? Let's do it. All right, negative 6x to the 5th plus 4, 5x to the 4th plus 9x cubed minus 2. And what do we notice? Yes, nothing in between. And what do we need to do? Wonderful job. You guys are absolutely crushing it right now. We have that negative 6x to the 5th is our first term there. And again, we'll distribute to all three terms here. So negative 6x to the 5th times 5x to the 4th will give us negative 30x to the 9th. Then we have negative 6x to the 5th times 9x cubed. So negative 6 times 9 is negative 54. That will be x to the 8th. Great work. Then we will do negative 6x to the 5th times our negative 2 here. So negative 6 times negative 2, yes, it gives us a positive. Great work, and it is a dozen. Don't forget your x to the 5th. So plus 12x to the 5th. Then we will work through our second term here. And again, we will look to align and combine where possible. 4 times 5x to the 4th. So 4 times 5 is 20. Don't forget your x to the 4th. I don't see anything that we can align. There's no exponent of a 4. So we'll just continue to write it straight across, or you can write it right below if you'd like and just start it fresh and drop it depending on what you would like. All right, so 4 times 9 is 36. Don't forget our x cubed. Then we're just going to continue with it down the number line. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. There is nothing to combine with this one. Go ahead and circle your answer. All right, 8b. Feel free to go ahead and try that on your own independently. And we will move forward to 9a. Determine the result of 8x to the 7th minus 13x to the 4th. Ooh, again, great job. Minus there. 17x to the 6th plus 11x to the 4th minus 34. What do we need to do? Yes, great job. We need to take our negative, our little space between. All right, that means that's where we need to flip the sign of that positive 17x to the 6th, and that becomes a wonderful work, negative 17x to the 6th. And again, I'll just go back and forth. We need to change the sign of our positive 11x to the 4th. And what do we make that? Yes, a negative 11x to the 4th. And then we will highlight our negative 34. That becomes the positive Walter Payton. So plus 34. Great job. If you want, you can go ahead and do that. All right. And then we'll just, again, look to align and combine where possible. All right. So we'll start with our 8x to the 7th. Do we have anything to the 7th power? I don't see anything else. So what we're going to do is just write that in our answer as 8x to the 7th. All right, then we have our, let me go ahead, negative 13x to the 4th. Can we combine that with anything? Yes, we can. Negative 11x to the 4th. And what did someone notice? What should I do with that next one before? Yes. You can do the computation now and write it, or you can write the negative 17x to the 6th if you'd like. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that, all right? We'll write the negative 17x to the 6th. Great job noticing that. Thank you so much. Negative 13 minus 11 gives us negative 24x to the 4th because we are combining. All right, and then we do have that last term just hanging out. That positive 34, just go ahead and write it as plus 34. And circle your answer. That could have looked a little different if you wanted it to. You could have wrote it with the 8x to the 7th, then the negative 24x to the 4th, negative 17x to the 6th plus 34, and then just reorganized. But why reorganize when we can recognize ourselves? All right, 9B, wonderful. All right, ooh, 9B, go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to try it independently. And we will go on to 10A here. We have determined the result of 7x cubed minus 8x squared plus 3x, 5x squared minus 2x plus 9. All right, this is going to take a little bit of a time, only because, yes, great job. What did you guys notice? The space between, what do we need to do? Yes, you are correct. We need to distribute. All right, so we have our 7x cubed, and let's just go ahead and begin distributing. 7x cubed times 5x squared. 7 times 5 is 35. I'm just going to save some room here, I'm going to write it right here. All right, and then that will be x to the 5th because we are adding our exponents of 3 and 2. 7x cubed times negative 2x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. That will be x to the 4th, so minus 14. X to the 4th, and then 7x cubed times 9. 7 times 9 is 63, so plus 63. Don't forget your x cubed. All right, then we will look at our second term to distribute. In blue, we have negative 8x squared. Negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. And when we add the exponents, we get x to the 4th. Do we have anything to the 4th power? We do. So let's just go ahead and align that now. So it'll be negative 40. X to the 4th, then we have negative 8x squared times negative 2x. Negative 8 times negative 2 gives us that positive 16. That'll be x cubed, or x to the 3rd power, which we can align right here. So let's just go ahead and do plus 16 x cubed. Then we have negative 8x squared times 9, giving us negative 72x squared. And because we can't align that with anything, we'll just go ahead and write it there. Beautiful. Then we will work through our 3x. We have 3 times 5, giving us 15. And again, that'll be to the cubed, or 3rd power. So we can continue to align that here. So plus 15x cubed in green. Let me go ahead and do that for us. All right, then we have 3x times negative 2x, giving us negative 6x squared. We can align that right here. And then we have 3x times 9, so 3 times 9 giving us a 27, and then x by itself, so we'll just continue to write like that right there. All right, then we will draw our line across, top to bottom, left to right, and that's all there is to it. Let's go. 35. X to the 5th. Negative 14, you owed me 14 bucks. You borrowed another 40. How much you owe me? Yes, the Erlocker. You owe me minus 54. X to the fourth. All right, 63 plus 16 will give us 79. 79 plus 15 here will give us 94. X to the third, so plus 94. X to the third. Negative 72 minus another 6. Well, now you owe me 78, so minus 78x squared. Drop down that plus 27x, and everything looks aligned and organized. Go ahead and circle your answer. Yes, some of my 7s I don't do it for, and some I do. I noticed that earlier. Beautiful. 10B, if you'd like to go ahead and try that independently, feel free. All right, and let's see what 11 looks like. Ooh, okay, for each, find the perimeter and area of the shaded rectangle. All right, so we're looking for the shaded rectangle here. Well, let's just start and let's just identify what the length is. All right, so this shaded line right here, the length is 12. All right, so we know what one of the sides is. All right, so we're just going to do length. I'm just actually going to write it out. Sometimes I'll do an L, but we'll do length equals 12. All right. Now, how about the width? The width is a little interesting here because we know that the entirety here is 12. We're only looking for, and I'll shade what in gray. So we're looking for this right here in gray. All right, we'll call that our width. However, it is giving us a couple bits of information. It's giving us that the entirety of this is 12. But it's also giving us, a portion of our, I guess, middle line here of 4x. I'm going to highlight that in green. All right. So our width is basically 12 minus 4x. All right, now to find the perimeter, well, we need two 12s and we need 2 of these. So what we can do is, and let's just go ahead and find the perimeter. I'm just going to put P equals for the perimeter since we know what each thing is. We'll do 2 times 12, which equals, wonderful job, 24. And then for our width, or our perimeter, will be 2 times 12 minus 4x. So now we have 2 lengths and 2 widths. So let's go ahead and write that down. And that'll equal 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times our negative 4x is minus 8x. Now you can simply combine 24 plus 24 is 48 minus 8x. All right, so that's your perimeter. Now for the area, well, if area is just length times width, well, we're just going to take our length of 12. We're going to multiply it to 12 minus 4x, which equals 12 times 12 is 144. 12 times negative 4x is negative 48x. And this might be inches squared, feet squared, centimeters squared. I guess we'll just go inches squared. Go ahead and circle your answer for the area. All right, if you'd like to practice 11 independently, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can kind of pause the video and write that out yourself. It doesn't need to be neat and perfect. If you need the visual, pause it and work through it with the visual. And I'll zoom back out just so you can see exactly what we did there. And in just a moment, I will go over the answer key for your practice. And for those that tried the independent practice for 1b, you're looking for the coefficient of the second term, which is negative 7. Alrighty, for 2b, determine the result of, we just combine negative 13x to the 6 plus 4x to the 6, giving us 9x to the 6th, plus 5x squared plus 3x squared, giving us the 8x squared. All right, the negative 6 I highlighted in green, but I also highlighted the plus 7x in orange. Those we cannot combine. And if we write it in the form of our answer correctly, we would start with the plus 7x, then drop the minus 6. All right, for 3b, let's take a look. Again, we flip the signs All right, of everything from this polynomial, so the negative 2x to the fourth became the positive 2x to the fourth, the 12x cubed became negative, and the 9x also became negative. And then we just simply combined like terms, just like above where we could, and we wrote it in form. However, that negative 13 I had left in orange. I'm actually going to go ahead and correct that now while we're mid-video and put that in green for us. Wonderful. Going on to 4b, determine the degree of the trinomial. And again, it's just the greatest valued exponent. We have a 13, so our answer is 13 because it's greater than 11 and 9. All right, for 5b, I think we had to do a little bit of a reorganization, somewhat different from here. I just did it and jumped it in black here, but here I did it in pink. So again, we did reorganize. So negative 9x to the 6th plus 18x to the 5th minus 24x to the 4th plus 48x cubed plus 21x squared plus 56. Moving forward to 6b. All right, I know some of these may have looked somewhat different in the reorganization, but I don't believe it did here. So if you go through it, your work should look somewhat similar. You may not do it like this. You may have dropped this up here, and that's okay too. But 12x to the 10th minus 7x to the 8th minus 10x to the 6th minus 3x to the 5th minus 48x cubed minus 54. Moving forward to 7b. All we're doing, again, we see that plus, we're combining like terms. 11x to the 6th minus 11x to the 6th. We didn't write anything in red because those cancel one another out. Negative 8x to the 4th plus 3x to the 4th gave us a negative 5x to the 4th, and 19 minus 6 gave us our positive 13. All right, 8b, we had to do some distributing. It looks a little different. One of these did, not this one. This one still works out fine. We just distributed. We couldn't combine, so we just wrote it out as we went along and circled our answer. Determine the result of for 9b here. Let's take a look. Negative 19x to the 7th plus 5x to the 4th plus 8x to the 6th plus 22. All right, we have negative 19x to the 7th plus 8x to the 6th plus 5x to the 4th. And our answer, we just had to flop those two. So, and then plus the 22, go ahead and circle it. That way it's in correct form. 10b should look something like this from your work. 30x to the 5th minus x to the 4th minus 52x cubed plus 43x squared minus 14x. Something I noticed on 11 that I liked, I kind of colored it differently than I did previously in the instructional part. That way you could truly see it and get an example. All right, the perimeter, we have the length of 30. The width is 30 minus 5x, so we need two 30s and two 30 minus 5x. All right, so we have 2 times 30 is 60, 2 times 30 is 60 there, 2 times negative 5x is minus 10x, 60 plus 60 we combined to 120, drop down our minus 10x. All right, the area is the length, all right, which is 30, and the width is 30 minus 5x, so we're just doing length times width, so 30 times 30 is 900, 30 times negative 5x is minus 150x, and that completes your review for your first quiz of the year, Miss Susie Greenberg. Thank you. Let's crush it.